Good evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Good evening, everybody. DC, Wes, good evening, pal. Paddy Oaks, Big Mark, Michael, everyone in chat. Paddy, good evening, sir. And Anne-Marie back after a little short break with Riyad Mahrez. You'll probably notice that with somebody missing tonight at the moment. It's because he's been to get his hair cut today, by all accounts. So, yeah. Good evening, Stan. How are you? Oh, hang on a minute. Stan, I love your haircut, mate.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. Are you?
I'm all right.
Welcome, DC. Welcome back, Anne-Marie. Hope you had a lovely holiday with Riyad. Hello, DC. So how was it, Anne-Marie? We'll kick off with that before we get into the match.
Well, I had a lovely holiday, but it wasn't with Mahrez. I was in Palma, and it was lovely, nice and warm.
You telling me it wasn't with Mahrez?
No, it wasn't with Mahrez.
It's a good thing she's not attached to a lie detector.
Yeah, it's good job Jeremy Kyle's not around, in it, eh?
Yeah, she gave the needle whiplash.
Yeah. So yesterday, and I've titled the show City School Newcastle in a 1-0 masterclass. I thought yesterday it was a masterclass. Collectively, it was the most perfect 1-0 you could have wished for, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it could have been more than 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought we had it totally under control, and it was good to see Phil playing the way he did, and also have to give it to Kovacic as well. I thought he had a really good game yesterday.
Did he what?
Thanks, DC.
No, I won't quite go well. Do you know something? What I was really pleased about more than anything yesterday was there's been certain sections, and I've even seen stupid City accounts basically saying what we should do. And this was before the Paqueta saying what we should do is tempt West Ham by offering Phil Foden for Paqueta. Yesterday, Phil Foden was a 10 out of 10. He was magnificent yesterday. For those who was in the chat yesterday on Martin's show, I went on Martin's show last night, and I said pretty much the same. And as I always do, Paddy, I always watch the game back. You know, if I've been live, I always do. And we was actually better than I thought we was last night.
Oh, we're definitely. We played them off the park. Haaland should have scored 2 or 3, but look, I don't think they had a shot until the second half, and I think they only had one shot on goal all game. I think their plan was to come and kick lumps out of us. I think 5 or 6 of them were booked, especially that little Gordon, is it? He should have been sent off.
Yep.
Nasty, also he was.
He should have been sent off just for being scouts.
Yeah.
Let alone tackling.
But that was, you couldn't have dreamed for a better game. That was just 10 out of 10 from start to finish. And Foden, my God, that young fella is like, it's like Xbox football, the way he plays in his head. Mm-hmm. I don't actually think he knows what he's going to do with the ball. It's so instinctive.
It's the way he sort of like draws players in, doesn't it? He sort of like does a bit what Jack does, where he draws the players in. But whereas Jack sometimes gets caught, Foden doesn't. He just does that little bit of acceleration to get away. Stan, Jack Lee's put there, mate. Very impressed about the defence yesterday. It brings a composure and communication. The biggest compliment I can pay to Gvardiol yesterday, you didn't really notice he was on the pitch because he was that efficient.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of them players that you don't really realise what he's doing till he's not there. Mm-hmm. And it's probably about the biggest backhanded compliment you can give somebody. he's not going to, he's not going to bother with the towering headers and things like that. But what he will do is just make life very, very uncomfortable for whoever he's playing against. You could see the frustration on Newcastle. Like you say, they ended up kicking people. Gordon was getting nothing out of the defence. So he had to start, being bleep, 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 bleep. And it's just not good enough, Gordon. He really wasn't good enough. That's the bottom line. And it would have been the frustration with Newcastle is they've come to City thinking it's the beginning of the season. We've had a cracking 4-1 win at home to Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Villa aren't a bad team. Everything's going. They've had all week to prepare. Nothing in the way. All week to prepare to find a way to beat us. And yet we've turned up, third game of the week, been away, been to Greece, come back, and still put them on the backside. That's got to be frustrating.
Joel Linton should have seen red, shouldn't he, as well? And Gordon is lucky that Joel Linton did that because he'd have seen a red for a second yellow anyway.
Yeah.
Gordon's alive. He was as a professional, he died yesterday. Gordon. Nothing. Absolutely nothing about him.
And Marie, Pardo Oaks has put there, he's put, first time I've not been nervous, even though it was only 1-0 for quite a long time. I totally get that, what Pardo's saying there, because yesterday, I don't know, there was an air about the Etihad, wasn't there, where it just seemed we was in control, weren't we?
We were totally in control, and I have to give credit to the club because the display they put on before kickoff was class. It was good to see that we got to celebrate our treble all there together. And I thought it was really well done, even with the fireworks going off from the top of the stand. But right from kickoff, we had it under control that game yesterday. I didn't think for 1 minute that Newcastle were going to score. We just looked solid and well up for it. Mm-hmm. And you have to give Pep credit for that because it's not easy playing a game like that after the game we had in midweek. And Alvarez, that goal, he didn't even look. He just took the ball and kicked it, and right in the corner. There was no stopping it.
So Mike, who I sit next to at the match, and he's top lad, Mike. If you're watching, Mike, good evening, sir. He said something yesterday, and sometimes Michael just throw something there and leave it. And he said to me yesterday, and he's been, even though Alvarez has been compared to Aguero before, he reminds me, and he's got something in common with Aguero Alvarez. And I went, what? He's Argentinian, as you do. And he went, no. He went, if he has time to think about it, he'll fluff it. Instinctively, he's bang on the money. And when somebody says something like that, you think, something, it's not a bad analysis, that is it, a Paddy, where it just came to him and he just knew where the back of the net was. So,
but you see that with a lot of footballers, once they have time in their hands and then they fluff their lines, they can't. There's too much information in their head. Where if this becomes a thing of instinct, where they don't have to think about it, that's when you see the best of them. But going back to what Stan was saying about that defence, as good as it was yesterday, I think we have a major headache in our hands because Aki got dropped, or because of the gamble problems.
Pep said he wasn't fully fit, and otherwise, I think Pep would have made a substitution. Pep, I'm sure I've not dreamt it. I'm sure Pep said that he didn't make any substitutions really because it was like on a knife edge. I think under a normal circumstance, he would have put Aki on, for a bit of support, but he wasn't 100%.
Yeah, but even going forward when Stones is back, because I think Aki played that role in Greece.
Wait, what was it? Danny, was it?
Or Aki, I should say, played
no,
that
when
role in Greece.
When he said Aki played that role in Greece, what was it? Danny Zuko?
The Fawns. But he didn't have a great game. But against Newcastle in the John Stones role, as we call it, I thought Aki was absolutely fantastic against Newcastle. So when Stones comes back, like Stones and Diaz are going to be the centre back pairing. So then you're left in there, Kanji, Aki, and Gaviscon looking for one spot.
But you know, you're absolutely right, mate. I've got. All right, Stan.
Is that right, mate?
You have your ups and downs, don't you, mate?
We do.
So
20 years as a lift operator.
Is that what's elevated you to this status, mate? Wait. So
had its ups and downs.
So with Ake, I'm quite comfortable, although it's not disappointing because we've got Guardiola come in, mate. But with Ake, I'm confident he's up for a fight, he's up for a battle, which we've seen over Laporte. Last night, I was really impressed with Akanji, the way he sort of like did that little inverted roll, and I thought that was probably one of his best games for us.
Yeah, he had super intelligence last night playing against Newcastle.
Yeah, Stan.
Yes, mate.
Akanji. Oh, I think people need to lay a bit more respect on him, don't they? In the respect of Pep will play him anyway. It's like the old Ian Brightwell. We don't even now after donkey's years, I still don't know Ian Brightwell's best position because he did a great job in everywhere. The various managers asked him to play. Is that an hindrance or is it a help for Akanji?
I think it's a help because if you've got 3-4 slots that you can play in, you're going to get more chance of playing, aren't you? You know, if you're a specialist and you can only do one role, bearing in mind, as we've said plenty of times, that Pep doesn't really have a plan A. He has a plan A to Z, depending on what he wants that day. Mm-hmm. If he's looking at somebody to do a certain job, if you've got more strings to your bow, it's going to be better if you're working under somebody like Pep.
Absolutely. Anne-Marie, what Wes says, the fans were, fantastic, just as Pep asked for. I thought the Etihad was bouncing last night, and maybe that's what we said earlier about from the minute we got in there, it didn't feel as if we was going to be under, that much of a pressure. We always knew we was going to win. It was just that feeling. I thought the Etihad was rocking. Even the family stand, which we get criticised for, that was rocking last night. I didn't see you lot in the other end singing it out though.
No, well, I thought the atmosphere was really, really good yesterday. Yeah. There's obviously within the Etihad at the minute, because of the doing all this building work, there was I'm not slagging the club off, but there was major issues getting out of the ground yesterday. And getting away from the ground.
You see, I'm affected with that, because of the where it's, that's where the redevelopment was. I've got to give a lot of credit to City there. I thought it was pretty seamless last night.
Well, and that's perfect for you, Andy. And like I say, a lot of people might disagree with me, but trying to get the metro back.
Yeah, that's I'm just talking about general. If it was the metro, I sort of understand, because for anybody who doesn't know where the building work is, it's the old club shop, and the Metro Link is basically behind there. So at the moment, it's all like cordoned off in that area. So there was sort of like a bit of a bottleneck, but it didn't really delay anybody, and it was really, really safe to do so. So I should imagine the Metro Link was a little bit,
It was for me, it was a major issue, Andy, and I'll tell you for why. I've got the fast track ticket for the Metro. Mm-hmm. Now, bear in mind, you've got two Metros, one heading to Manchester, the other heading towards Ashton. And what they've done is, for the first time ever, they've moved all the fast track to one side, and it wasn't signed or anything last night.
Ah, right, okay.
So when you go over to get your tram back towards town, they were sending you right over to the other side to try and to try and find it was just horrendous. It was that's the only little downside for me of last night.
Can I ask you a question then?
Yeah.
Why didn't you go in your red car? If you would have gone in your red, by the way, everyone, Anne-Maria's got a red car. And I've christened it Re-Red Cares. Anne-Marie, naughty step for you.
I
So
know,
why didn't
but
you
it wasn't through choice. It was all like, I had to get a car. I was desperate for a car. I only had so much to spend, and that was all that was on offer. So
There's always a choice.
I needed a car to get to work, Stan. It was as simple as that. Who knows? It might get wrapped in the next 12 months. I'm not saying it won't, but
How they give you a lift?
and I have my own little nickname for that car, but I'm not saying it on here because I wouldn't want anyone to report us for swearing.
She calls it Little Bar Steward, or words to that effect, don't you?
Yeah, Little Red Bar Steward.
So Daniel says Walker held with on the right, which allowed Alvarez Foden to be the two number 10s. Kovacic played as the double pivot next to Rodri. Pep could use this tactic a lot this season. Absolutely, Daniel. I tweeted a bit. I don't even think it was half time. I was loving the Kovacic, Rodri, and Foden partnership last night. It just seemed like Kovacic seems like he's played for us for years. I can't ever remember. Kovacic is a player what I have seen play quite a lot, not only for Chelsea but Real Madrid, because I do watch pretty much all Premier League football, etc. I'm sure you guys do. But I've never seen Kovacic not only play that smart, but he's playing with a smile on his face. It's like he's enjoying his football, Paddy.
So would you be if you were playing on that team? He probably sleeps with it and wakes up with a grin on his face.
Yeah.
That's like all your
And probably after the last 12 months he had at Chelsea, which I don't think was much fun for any of the team.
Who got gubbed 3-1 by West Ham not long ago as well. And Paqueta scored. And after Paqueta scored, what did he do?
That was cold for the family back home.
Yeah, that was
Get your bets on.
Yeah. I think I don't think we'll be in for him.
To be honest, with Paqueta, I know we've sort of like gone off piste a little bit. With Paqueta, and I've said this, I've not really classed Paqueta as somebody who really, really stands out. I don't ever remember anybody saying before we was linked with him, "Oh, we should go and get that Paqueta from West Ham."
We won't touch him with a barge pole while there's this betting thing over him.
No, I agree. Listen, there is going to be other options. The people really think that Pep and Cheeky, by the way, he needs respect, not the abuse. I see him getting on Twitter, and I'll call it Twitter. I nearly called it something else then, because we must have had an inkling somewhere there for us to go, "Way, sweet child of mine, we ain't going near you with that one until if it gets proven, because that's not going to be something short term between now and the transfer window closing. That's going to be ongoing. That
could be an Ivan Toney job. Buy him for 85 million and buy him for 10 months.
And that's what's going to say. So you imagine, and I know you're going to jump in then, Stan. So you can imagine, right? Everybody wants, we should still, and I'm seeing it now, we still should go in for Paqueta, is innocent till proven guilty. I absolutely get that. But we buy a player for 85, 90 million pounds, and all of a sudden, in 3-4 weeks, when the transfer window closes, he gets a ban like Paddy says. What would people say then? Why the hell have we bought Paqueta when a ban was potentially, going to be happening against him?
Yeah, that's the thing. This is why he does such a good job, Cheeky. There's two parallel stories running here. Like you said, if we're going to buy him, and at the moment, because he's not got his release clause, it could have been 85 to 100. 2 weeks into when he's come to us, he's then banned for 5 or 6 months. You don't want to be doing that. So you're going to have to keep your powder dry. I thought it was brilliant that everyone thought it was in the bag, and then suddenly at the last minute, City walks away. Somebody's obviously dropped the bombshell that something's going on. Just be careful. Tread careful. So they tread careful, and then the next morning or the next afternoon, all these charges have come out. Now, the beauty of it is, if he's guilty, we've dodged a bullet. If he's not guilty, we can pick him up for his release course next year. No arguing, no hassle. No negotiation, nothing. Whatever these release clauses, there you go, goodbye, and then you get on again and you move along.
Did it prove though, Stan? Doesn't it prove though that you should? It doesn't matter. You should never rush into a deal, and our board gets criticised a lot. They got criticised for the Guardiola deal and stuff like that, and we have with other players in the past and stuff like that. Or we don't move on players quick. It just shows it's not just a case of going in Asda and going, yeah, I'll have that. Sorted, bought it. There's a lot of background as well, Yes,
there is. But you've got to remember when you're looking at that platform whose name we cannot mention. It's just some halfwit who probably served you at Asda who's on there, giving it the big, this is done deal. Really?
By the way, there is other supermarkets other than Asda, by the way.
No, but you go in there and like you say, people are commenting on stuff. You had it today. You're somebody was going on Weekend Warrior, and what was it? Keyboard, not Weekend Warrior.
So basically, there was this.
No, it doesn't matter what we're going into it. What the point is, people who talk complete and utter garbage, and because they use the right words or did it FIFA 23 or they look all right. People follow it. It's the problem nowadays. People have got the attention span of I don't know.
Nuts.
Look, there's a squirrel, and off they go to whatever's new.
People have got an attention span of
goldfish.
I don't know. No, but it's right because there's background checks. What go in. Because I know this because I spoke to somebody. I'm not going to name drop somebody who is no longer at City now. Anyway, and he says
Tony Buck.
No, he is still at City.
Is he okay, Tony Buck? Because I was surprised he wasn't there carrying one of the trophies out yesterday.
I'm not sure if he's in brilliant health. If I'm honest, I thought that last night. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's poorly. It's just something I got told last night. It could have just been a load of BS. I don't know. But as I say, Stan, it's like background checks. Will this player fit in not only into the club? Would he and his family settle into Manchester? This kind of environment. There's all sorts of stuff what goes into it. So delaying a deal for me is the right thing to do, and the proof is in the pudding with this one.
It's a great example. You could probably find 3 or 4 wingers who are just as good as Jack Grealish. But what might have tipped it for is when they've been doing the background checks, he's such a nice fella and he's so easy. You can see they love him in the dressing room and all that. You'd rather have somebody like that than somebody who's whinging and bitching every 5 minutes. And you're going to stay clear of them. Can you imagine having to live in the dressing room with that Gordon? Bloody hell. It'd be down your head about Bruno, another one, moaning. That was the other one who should have gone. Bruno Guimaraes.
Did you see that today?
Moaning every 2 seconds. It's like, you get out, like, And then you got old Jack coming in, hasn't he? Way, with his mate Troy.
I'm Marie. Stuart here. Good evening, Stu. Hope you're well, pal. Players don't tend to get dropped at City; they get rotated. It's not about only 3 or 4 players play every week. Now, absolutely spot on in my opinion, Stu. The point what I make there, Anne-Marie, is Pep sort of like got a little bit of a not pelters last night for not making a substitution. People were sort of like assuming, because our bench was weak, la-di-da-di-da. I put a spin on it in my own thoughts was if it had been 2 or 3-0 to us, you'd have seen substitutions. Because it was so tight, Pep was almost like, right, you're in this war, you're in this war, you're in this bunker together now. See it through. Because if it had made a change on the right or the left or whatever, they wouldn't have been in the pace of the game.
Yeah.
So the Newcastle players would have been in full flow. So I think Pep did the right thing last night.
It did, and it was interesting. I don't know whether anyone watched Match of the Day last night. There was a point where one of the fans was shouting about substitutions, and Pep basically said to him, "Come and sit in my seat and do my job."
I've not seen that. I've heard about it, but I've not seen it.
In a light-hearted way. but you know, he's right in what he's saying, and it's been interesting listening to Pep this week, because he's made comments about Chelsea and their spending, and how they've spent over £900 million since Bowley took over, and if it had been the other way around, we'd be getting absolute pelters for it, and we haven't done it. And he then went on to name various players, Maguire being one of them, where we won't pay what they're not worth. And as it turns out, when you look at it now, we really, you know, thank God we never signed Maguire. Thank God we never signed Sanchez, because they would have, well, I'm not saying Maguire would, but Sanchez would have destroyed the team spirit, I believe. And they were never worth the money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Pep saying we're standing by our guns. You know, we look at Chelsea last season, players that we were supposedly after, Cucurella from Brighton. We didn't get him because we wouldn't pay what Brighton wanted. And, you know, Chelsea went and paid it. And I think he was a disaster for them last season.
And we've seen that with Rice as well. You know, we've been in for Rice and stuff like that. And I agree with it, because if you look now, we've got players like we've sold, and we're getting sell on fees like Romeo Lavia and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the players like him are probably on a par price wise as a Maguire and stuff like that. So why would we pay stupid amounts of money for somebody like a Maguire or a Sanchez? The players what Pep quoted, when
a name.
We've probably got potential with some of the academy players what have gone, not on about the ones what are currently with us. We've got the potential with the players what we've sent out either on loan or we've sold, what are on the level with these players we're being linked with, but we're being linked with stupid amounts of money for them. So there's just no logic in it.
None at all.
Yeah, but you can see what we're doing. I mean, it's very much like the Brighton model. People laud that, and the Brentford model. But we're doing the same thing. You get to a certain limit, and if that's what we're not prepared to go over, we don't go over it. Mm-hmm. And that player can go somewhere else, and that's great. Because I think somewhere in the back of Cheeky's mind, he knows names don't always make a team.
They don't, mate.
You know, you don't pick the best 11 players to make a team. You pick the best players, the best 11 players to make the team, not the other way around. The team don't come around the players make the team. And somebody said it earlier, I've forgotten the name. We don't have an 11, we have a 15, 16.
That was
Stuart. And it was a great point, because that's what we do have. And if we need to do this, then we do that. And if we need to do that, we'll do this. And we've got those players. Ake, he is an intelligent player. He's versatile. That's why we went for him. He came to us. It was about around the Maguire time, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So why get a stupid centre back that's dull as dishwater he's got a 50 bob head, but then you go out and get somebody who's clever who plays for Bournemouth, but has got a brain and can play football and saved yourselves 40 million. I mean, we said it last week. We've got a keeper who played for the team that was relegated in Germany, and a Kanji who apparently had a rick in him every game, and within a year they've done the treble. That's because it's that counts, and they've got that mentality. They say, "Oh, how are we going to replace Gundogan?" So we bring in Kovacic, and it's a case then of, well, we don't know much about him. Well, that's fair enough. We're fans. We're not going to be sort of like rooting out what he does somewhere else. But the guy's won 3 Champions Leagues. He's got to have some sort of mental strength in there. So he's come to us, and as Anne-Marie said earlier, he's just come out of a madhouse. He probably sat there on his deck chair with a big cigar thinking, oh, God, those neighbours, they were all lunatics. It's calm here. You know, I can pass a ball, and I know the guy's going to be there. I can do this. I know he's going to be backing me up. And this is why Pep didn't bother changing things on Saturday. If you're used to somebody next to you in the flow of the game, You don't want to have to wait 5 minutes for somebody to come up to the speed of the game, because in that 5 minutes, a team will score. And then you're on the back foot. And then the lad who's come on's thinking, that was my fault, that. Whether it was or it wasn't, doesn't matter. But, it's like you're then chasing it. No, it's not. The bench wasn't very strong. It was worrying. It's not worrying. We've got 4 top-class players out. We've had Silva, Bernardo out. We've had Stone. Was it Stones? Stones was out. We've got KDB out. There was somebody else, and all who was out. It's not a worry. It's just rare that you get that many injuries. Once they're back in, that bench will go back up again. So,
I agree.
I'm not with you on that one, Pardo. I'm not with you on that one. I agree with a lot of what you say, but I'll beg to differ with you on that one.
I sort of get what Pardo's saying there, to be fair, but also stands right. We have got players out. Not only that, Pep's already says we are going to be bringing players in. So, as I said, if people think that Pep and co are just sat there twiddling the thumbs, thinking we're not going to bring anybody in now because that's it. It's a nonsense. They are work. We're not going to be privy to what's going on. We're just fans who are watching all social media, listening to people and hoping that what these so-called in the knows are right. But they don't know nothing.
No, and I've given up listening to In the Nose. I don't take anything.
There is one who I do listen to who's always right.
Well, I'll leave that one with you. But for me, until I see City announce it, I don't believe anything. Because
I'm agreeing with you now, Anne-Marie. That's another thing. People saying this isn't Pardo saying it's worrying. Oh, this team this year, it's not going to be quite as strong. I'm quite worried about it. We haven't finished the squad yet. There could be 2 or 3 players coming in that make the whole world of difference. Now, if this time last year, 2 weeks before the start of the season, somebody said to you, we've got 2 lads who are coming in, I'm going to win the treble. And you're thinking, oh, we've signed Messi, we've signed this, we've signed that. Who is it? A lad called Akanji and a lad called Ortega. What?
You'd think.
What are you taking the Michael? No, they'll be all right. They are good keys for the system. Yeah, but I want Messi. You can have what you want. But unfortunately, we need to get, we have to buy what we need. And that isn't what we need. And those lads were what we need. And this is why that backroom staff with Cheeky at the top is by an absolute mile the best in the business.
Okay, then while we're on about it, that's a great link there, Chris, because Douglas has asked, what do you think Pep's plans are for Akanji? And we sort of touched upon it earlier about, is it a hindrance or is it a help? That it can fit into many positions. I think Akanji wouldn't be bothered where Pep plays because he's that intelligent. He's not always going to have 10 out of 10 games. He's got the odd little rick in him like any top player has. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's bothered as long as he's playing, and because he looks comfortable pretty much whether it's left, right, centre, and as we've seen last night, inverted, which I was very impressed with. So, where do you 3 stand on Akanji's best position, or are you happy with what he does?
I'm happy with what he does. Jesus, it goes back to the old saying, "Don't fix it if it's not broke." He's unreal what he does. Let him do it. Keep him at it.
It's a great question, but I tell you what, there's no answer because I have not got a clue. You're asking us to sort of predict what Pep's going to do, and I ain't going to be doing that. No chance. Could be anything. He could end up playing up front.
But it is a great point, though, Stan. You don't have to have a world-class superstar to come in to do that role. Listen, for every Kevin De Bruyne, you need a Fernandinho.
Of course, yeah. This is what they say, isn't it? Football teams are made out of piano players and piano shifters. Without piano shifters, the piano players won't be able to play a note.
Yeah.
And that is a very old saying.
That Jack Grealish gets 2-3 players on him all the time. That's what it takes to get the ball off Jack Grealish. And if he can slip in that ball in the Alvarez or Foden or whoever who's there, it takes them 3 players out of that game.
Yeah.
I know he runs into the blind alleys at times, but like he's always man-marked by 2 or 3 people.
Yep, we saw that last night. And that's a great point, Paddy, because we saw that last night. Every time Jack got the ball out on the left, it was like 2, 3, and sometimes 4 people. So he wasn't going round them to whip the ball in. He was sort of like coming back in as he always does. And by the time he's come back in, he's got them players around him. And I think a lot of people say about Grealish, he should be doing better. He should be chipping in with more assists and goals and stuff like that. But I don't think Pep's that bothered as long as he has that ball retention.
And that's the key thing. You've just said it there, ball retention. So even in the last 5 minutes of time added on at the end of the game yesterday, him and Haaland in the corner, that is what Pep's after.
That was good, by the way. Again, last time was Newcastle, wasn't it? And that was just class again last night.
But just holding the ball up and keeping control.
That's the beauty of it, though. People were saying about Haaland last night that, he didn't do much, or he was misfiring and he wasn't doing that. I mean, okay, we know he doesn't have hold of the ball, and most of his passes end up in the net. We know all that. But while he's occupying 3 players, who do you think's got that space there to do the wizardry that Phil did?
Last night it was Walker because
he's another. But this is the thing. That's what Pep wants, and that's why he's probably not all that concerned whether Jack Grealish has got 5 goals and 3 assists or whatever. We'll leave that to the guys that play fantasy football who want to do in some mad team that is specifically built for the specific rules. Out in the real world, in the Pep world, you're not bothered who's doing it. As long as somebody's doing it and it can roll around, he's happy. Ireland's got 2 players. Jack's got 2 players. Whoever's on the right, Bernardo will have 2 players. There's space somewhere, and that is what we're doing, and that is why we knock the ball around. Because as soon as that space comes up, bang, in we go, goal, 1-0. At the moment, end the game, because the defence is cracked up. Or cranked up, rather, not cracked up. But years ago, it'd been like...
Yeah, years ago it was cracked up, mate. I'll go with that one.
The old club was cracked up years ago, let's be honest. But that's the thing now. And this is why people were confident last night that we now know we can sit on a 1-0 lead. We don't like it because those formative years run deep. Nobody likes a 1-0. It's it only needs one chance. It only needs somebody to put the ball in the back of the net, own goal. Doesn't take much, and you can never really settle on it. But I tell you what, we don't look like we're going to. Have we conceded a goal yet in the league this year?
No.
We have we?
We've only had 2 games, mate. Come on, steady on.
No, I'll tell you what, though. But I've watched other teams who are going to win the league and they're going to dominate us. They're conceding goals. They're not getting anywhere. Arsenal aren't improving as quick as they would like. Chelsea is still, I don't know what Chelsea are. United, we're moving forward into 3rd.
No, it's a great point. And considering Stones is out at the moment as well, so it's not as if that's. Listen, if you could have a defense like ours with forget Laporte because by all accounts Laporte is going. Gvardiol, Aki, Akanji, Stones, Diaz, Walker, people. Lewis. Yeah, Lewis. If he was playing FIFA, you'd probably go for these players. So to actually physically have them at the club what you support, we're blessed. We really are. So, and like Stuart said, it's not as if Aki was dropped last night. I know Pep said he wasn't quite fully fit, but that is rotation because, and quite rightly what you said, Stan, and you'd always say it, to be fair, mate, that there'll be a different game where he'll probably think we're coming up against XYZ this week, so that's not going to be Gvardiol's best time to go up against this player. But I know, say it's Arsenal against Saka, I know I can put either Aki there or a Kanji there because they always do a good job on him. And that's the beauty. We've got that interchanging all the time now. And it's a great point what Mark says there. You could notice a difference in a Kanji with Diaz back in the team. You're right, because Diaz has just got this calming influence on everything. He makes it look seamless, Anne-Marie, doesn't he? Where
he's a natural leader. He's a natural leader, and he's talking all the time to the back four. He keeps them organised. He keeps them on the ball, and that's what we've been since Vincent. He's what we've needed, and we've got him, and we have to make the most of him while we've got him. So I think he's perfect for our defence. We've got the opportunity to make real history this season.
People think I'm bonkers. I said I'm sticking with it, and I went early with it after the Burnley game. I said we're going to win the treble again. Go. I did.
Don't say that.
No, I'm not saying that.
When have I ever been wrong?
Every time you speak.
Yeah. The main thing for me this season is the league. 4 in a row.
Yeah,
never been done.
If you had to choose one, it would be. If you had to choose one, it would be the Premier League. It would. I go with that.
And it's, I spoke to you on the other night, Andy. A friend of mine asked me a question on Wednesday night.
Yeah, go on.
After the Super Cup, that when I was growing up watching City, did I ever imagine I'd see what I've seen? My answer was quite honestly, no. I said, even as a 30-year-old, I said my only hope was that
you don't mean 30 now, do you?
No, I'm not 30 now.
I know you're not, love.
But as a 30-year-old, I was just hoping to see City win a trophy. Didn't matter what it was.
I was hoping to see him win a throw-in.
But to win a trophy. And what I've seen since winning the FA Cup in 2011 is beyond my wildest dreams.
So come on, in the chat, guys, in the chat, did you, be totally honest, did you ever expect us to win, the amount of trophies and stuff, the amount of success we've had, For me, I consider success not just trophies, but the way we play football and stuff like that. For me, that is a huge success. And just on the back of what Anne-Marie said there, she never believed it. And I always say this, and I told Anne-Marie exactly the same when I saw her the other night, when I was near a red car. My son, he's 25 now, and when he was at school, he used to get a bit of all that off all the rags, in school. And I remember him turning around to me once, and I went, "Don't worry, Adam." I said, "One day we'll be better than them, and we'll better shove it straight back down the throat." Didn't think anything of it. And in 2011, he turned around to me and went, "You was right, Dad, weren't you? Do you think?" I'm like, "Right about what?" And he reminded me of what I told him when he was in school, and I went, "Oh yeah, I did tell you. I forgot all about it because I didn't believe we would be." But while you've got hope, you've got everything. So I really believe that.
We spent every season counting the 40 points.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of our season, the 40 points.
There can't be many sets of fans who've gone from thinking the biggest cheer of the days when the Pies came out hot to doing the treble. And that's the journey that we've had. It's do you remember there was an air? Do you remember at Main Road? There was an air riot when they said that there was no chips one day. Place went berserk. I've never seen passions.
No, that was passions.
It was at the Etihad.
Was it the Etihad? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've never seen passions raised like that before. I'm not seeing it since.
Yeah,
there was a bit of carry on about that was winning the cup.
Funnily enough, right? I don't know if you. I'm going to turn the sound up.
Correct, Keith, by the way. Keith's right.
Hang on.
Why are you telling me to shush when I can read?
Funnily enough, somebody posted that the other day, and I thought I'm going to save that video. Yeah, there's no chips. That was sometimes that was the highlight of our little things like that. That was a highlight of stuff. So
and you're worried whether Paquetá will sign. I couldn't give it. I'm not asked. I need the chips. I want the chips to be right and ready and warm. That's it. Not bothered about Paqueta.
Did you ever think that for 1 minute, Paddy?
No, not in your wildest imagination. It's actually, if truth be born, like we're quite boring now compared to what we were used to. It's jeez, it would put you to sleep at football at times because it's so robotic. And Pep's all about he keeps mentioning this word rhythm. Everybody has to be in the rhythm. That's why he didn't disrupt that rhythm last night by substitutions. He had no need to do it. I think. And then the other bugbear of mine is when they refer to Sterling used to get it, and now it's Grady's turn now. Oh, he doesn't contribute to goals. What's Jack Gready's job? He's not a striker. He's a winger. And people refer to him as a striker, and he's usually referred to Sterling as a striker, and it drives me gaga.
I wouldn't say he's a winger, mate. I would say he's a left-sided midfielder, rather than the winger.
Well, his job is not to score goals. That's the striker's job. And then this criticism that gets levelled against him, and it was the same with Sterling. Oh, he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. He does what Pep tells him to do.
Absolutely. And if he didn't, where would he be?
On the bench.
He'd be getting splinters up his bum.
That story that Henri told about Pep at Barcelona? Them at half time.
Oh, go on, say, mate, go on.
They were playing a match, and Pep, I think it was, we'll say the right-hand side of your man, Henri, was on the right-hand side of the pitch, but the game was getting played on the left-hand side. So he got fed up, and he moved position. He went over to the left-hand side, gathered the ball, and scored, and he came off at half-time happy. Pep gave him a bollocking and subbed him. Says, I told you stay on the right-hand side. So every player on that pitch is doing exactly what Pep wants them to do. Just because it frustrates us or we think they should be doing something else. Tough.
Yeah.
Pep's the boss.
That's exactly why he got into Ireland rather than waiting for him to get in the dressing room. He had something on his head and it needed to be said. And he does what he did. He did it there and then. He didn't think of the consequences that the camera's watching. He's just got a point to make, and he has to make it there and then. And he has to make sure that player knows that no matter who you are or what you're doing, you do what I tell you. Otherwise, you won't be coming out the second half.
Exactly. I forgot about that, Stan, actually. And that was because Haaland wore it silver for that pass, lobbing the ball over.
Yeah.
Giving the ball away where Pep doesn't want. He wants to control possession.
Anne-Marie, I want to lay some respect as well on Ederson. He ended the season brilliantly. Last night, it was sort of a masterclass again from Ederson last night, the way he was pinging the balls. He don't even worry me anymore because where I sit in the family stand, I'm normally shaking like a dog. But last night when it came across, I just was like, it's just Ederson, isn't it? I don't even get nervous watching Ederson do that now.
No, and last night, the way we played out from the back was unreal. Mm-hmm. It really was, because there was no panic at all. And we always seemed to find a space. We found another City player. It's a joy to watch. We don't realise how lucky we are at this moment in time with what we're watching. Even like last season. I mean, last season was unbelievable for what we did. And we are just living the dream at the minute. And
Chris, sorry to interrupt, Anne-Marie. Chris, have you had too many of them, my friend? Sorry, Anne-Marie.
But I have to give Newcastle credit because, in previous seasons, they've come to our ground and they've been absolutely battered. And yet last night, they looked like a team that are definitely on the up and will cause other teams a lot of problems this season.
They battered us last night. They battered us on the pitch with the tackling.
Yeah, with the tackling. But other than that, they didn't really threaten us, did they?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing, Amber. They've come there. They've had the best chance in years. We've had probably four players that would play out. Like we were saying before, they've had all week to prepare. We've been to Greece and back, and they still couldn't land a punch. They couldn't. I mean, they could do a lot of kicking, but they couldn't actually put a glove on us. I can't ever remember any point in the game, bar Rodri and that uncharacteristic pass, which is probably because he's knackered, where they thought, well, they're putting us under the cosh here. We're wobbling. I can't remember.
One, wasn't it? Like,
can anyone remember us wobbling at all?
No. The last 15 minutes we got tired, all right.
Yeah, but that's
we still had our chances, even in that last 15 minutes. Yeah, Anne-Marie, I'll let you go on this. Leonard, good evening, Leonard. Thanks for joining us, pal. I still think City should replace Gundo and Mahrez as long as Pep is at the helm. Could potentially go for a quadruple. City are formidable, and no one comes even close. Now, the thing, and I always say this, there's no way Pep, I get what you're saying, Leonard, about while Pep's at the helm. I don't think Pep would leave us in a Fergie situation where he lets us decline before he does one. Because I think the main difference is Pep, you know, you got Cheeky and Soriano and stuff like that, and even Sheikh Mansour. Pep's got a brilliant relationship, you know, with them. I think Pep will also have a huge say in who his successor is going to be.
No, I believe that, Andy, as well. But I also believe that Pep, as brilliant as he is, and he is, it isn't all about him. It's about the club and the respect he has for our owners and different things. And he wouldn't do to us what Alex Ferguson did to United, because Ferguson, it was all about him. It was all about him and what he was achieving. And he jumped ship when he knew that team were at the lowest they could be. And that's why they're in the position they're in now. And that then it's going to take them, even with the signings they've made, it's going to take them years to get even close to us, because there isn't that togetherness that we have. And I think, you know, you're going to see over this next week, there's going to be huge problems at United over this Mason Greenwood stuff. You know, even, look, my own opinion is he should never play football in this country again. And I know innocent till proven guilty and whatever else, but we've all seen the videos. We've heard the voice recordings and everything. He should never play football in this country again. And I don't like the woman anyway, not just because she's a rag, but Rachel Riley has said that if he plays for United again, she'll stop supporting them.
I can't stand her either.
Can't stand her. But I would agree with her on that point.
No, I'm Rachel Riley. I really can't. I don't like her.
No, no, they do proper snake in the grass, that woman. No, don't like her at all.
I reckon she should support City anyway.
No, I won't want her anywhere near the club.
Leonard again, I was so impressed with Kovac. Yeah, as we said, mate, he was seamless last night. He was just...
Oh, he was pouring like an engine. He was just... Jesus, it was unreal.
It's like he's been with us for years.
I think it helped Phil just... you know, flourish even more. Going back to what somebody said before about Alvarez as well, you know, we was on about Stan as well about, you know, we don't know Akanji's best position, la-di-da-di-da. We sort of don't with Alvarez, do we? But where can you see his long term? Because it's quite obvious he's not a number 10. I'd say not a number 10 or even a main striker while Haaland's in the team. So where do we actually fit him in to benefit, you know, for him to be a regular starter, you know, alongside Haaland?
The short answer is I genuinely don't know.
Fountain of knowledge.
Yeah, no, but that is a conundrum because he is really, really good. I mean,
tell you what, Stan, if you don't know, see you later.
I know the answer to that. And
he'd walk into any other team. He'd walk into them And a year ago, he would have walked into Wales because we didn't even have a striker till Ireland turned up. He would have been all right. But,
Chris, hang on a minute. What is
Chris,
this?
Chris, if you tell us what a flang is, we'll probably be able to answer that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we've got players in the under-18 development better than that clown. Chris, you're going to have to wind it in. You're having that. You really are just there to troll. It's hard, isn't it? What do you do with a gem and an actual jewel like that? I don't know. I tell you what, though, I'm going to love finding out what they do.
Very, very easy stuff.
That's after love of following City at the moment, finding out how they will get these problems solved. That'll take some doing that, Keith. I think it's 16, isn't it? The lowest goals conceded.
17 won at Chelsea.
I think Liverpool did it on 42 years ago, pre-Premier League.
Well, we're on about Premier League. Don't forget, we was only formed in 2008, mate.
I know, we've not done bad.
And regarding Anthony Gordon, he got roasted by a 33-year-old last night, so he's not that good.
No.
So we're going back to Alvarez, Anne-Marie, and Paddy. You know, where how can you see him fitting in regular?
And I'm telling you, I'm just put him on the pitch. You
just get on the pitch and just
get on there and do what you need to do, because you can't tell that young flip what to do because he has it. He just knows. Same with Bernardo Silva, Foden, all of them. They just know. It's just like poetry in motion watching them play. And last night against Newcastle was a thing of beauty. It was absolute thing of beauty.
And I think that's the key thing with our front players, is that there is so much swapping and changing throughout the game of who plays where and different things. I think that's why you just get him you put him on the team sheet and see what happens, because he's capable of playing anywhere across that front line.
No, it is, and it's, and we're only going to get stronger because notoriously we don't tend to start the season off well. So, listen, I think some people underestimate how difficult it must have been. Bloody hell! You all right there, Stan? Is that vodka? Good lad.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate as well, Paddy, how difficult it must have been in Greece on, in Athens on Wednesday night. Phil Foden looks like he's lost 3 stone. Now, what a bit of what he's on at the minute. You know,
I can tell you, there's somebody to compete. Well, used to compete in a competitive sport. Like, the City didn't get back into Manchester. I think it was the 4 o'clock on Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And like anybody with a basic understanding of physiology and anatomy will tell you about recovery. But they counter. You see them clowns in on Twitter. Oh, he's on 300 grand a week. He should be able to kick a ball twice a week. No, that's just ignorance. You know, it's ignorance of what the human body is actually capable of. Like Rodri has highlighted that and says he was burnt out last season. Like playing Champions League football, then coming back, playing on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock. It's a joke. Like it really is. Like that's why there's so many injuries happening. Look how many injuries there is at the start of this season already. Like the Arsenal fans were laughing at us, Kevin De Bruyne. They're not laughing now because your man Timber's out for the season as well.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's it. Listen, it can be, and I think it's a great point. People expect, because they're professional footballers, they put what the wages, they should be able to do this. They should be able to play, 4 or 5 times a week. They're athletes. They're on £300,000 a week, and so at the end of the day, they're human beings, and to compete. I don't think we was at our best either, Anne-Marie, again, in the Super Cup. But what I think got us through that was our winning mentality. That juggernaut, what we are. We had that nous. We got the nous to see us.
It's the never give up attitude. And, full credit to Cole Palmer for his goal. It was a good goal. It was well worked. And you know, the biggest laugh for me was the fact that we actually scored all 5 penalties, which I found hard to believe. But, you know, we forget that it's not just a physical thing, is it? You know, it's an emotional thing, football. It's so draining. And even we know ourselves, there's been games where we've watched the game, we've had the fantastic result or whatever, but it's taken us a week to get over it. I think back to the end of last season against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
You know, what a game, what a result, but it took me a week to feel normal again after that game.
That's your age, Olaf.
Well, it probably is my age, Andy. But I just felt so emotionally drained after it that it took me a week to get over it. And so if it has that impact on us who are just sitting watching the game, what impact does it have on the players? Because again, like you say, they're only human as well. So we all go through those emotions of, oh God, we've nearly lost it, to, oh my God, we've won it. You know, so it's going to take its toll on them. And they do, you know, as much as we disagree with what they're getting paid or whatever, they do only have short careers.
Yeah. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at beyond belief. You could bring a kebab from outside the ground in the main road days. No stormtroopers harassing you. And what Stevie says there, you know, we just have a countdown, like even now, like we're only 34 points off safety. You know, 2 games in, and it's sometimes, and I've said this a few times, even on the shows and that we do. I can understand like the younger fans and stuff like that, where they have a bit of a problem with us old fogies, and people even older, like Stan, where, you know, why are we living in the past? Why are we living in the past? It's hard for us to get that what we've been through. It really is. But also, I agree with the younger fans where they're sick of it. They're sick of hearing it. You know, back in the day, you know, you don't know how lucky you are to watch City, la-di-da-di-da. Now, I totally get, and I totally understand what they say with regarding that. You know, so listen, at the end of the day, we've got to tolerate you, and you've got to tolerate us, because that's the beauty of what Manchester City have been through as a club, be it new fans, old fans, you know, younger fans. Doesn't matter how long you've supported us. It's that nice, all them ingredients what make the cake. What we smelling now.
There's bad and good on both sides, Andy, in terms of, like, the young ones having meltdowns when it's a draw or whatever. But at the same point, there's some older fans in. Oh, I'm supporting City since 1960, so I'm a better fan than you. Like that's nonsense. Like,
don't forget, Andy. Sorry, Paddy. Don't forget, Andy. It takes teamwork to make the dream work.
You've probably Googled that.
Taking standard paying off.
That's why we work so well, Stan.
We've all got our different strengths. And it's like Paddy said before, to take the analogy of his pals over in America, the Indians, that your body's your body. You can pay whatever you want for that. But once, you know, you've burnt yourself out and done everything, you're going to realise you can't eat money. So you've got to look after yourself. You've got to look after your body. And it doesn't matter whether you're getting 22 grand a year or 22 grand a week. Your body's your body. And
your body is a temple. And by the way, Stevie, by the way, you should have put a space in between the leg and the end there, mate, by the way.
That's true, that. It's the leg work. This is why this thing works, because I'm doing the leg work.
Stan's our straight man, like Anne-Marie's our straight man as well.
Yeah, there's loads of them. You're right, though. We all do have to live with each other, and us old uns. It's not the past, it's memories. Cheeky buggers, cheeky young buggers. And I tell you what, I'd love to have those memories of never having known what it was like when we were poor.
Would you change it, though? Would you change what we've been through, Paddy?
No.
No.
That was some of the best days of my life.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, when people ask me, what's your best ever season? And I still say it. I say it, the old third division. And they're like, really? You know, he was absolute rubbish. Yeah, because I never missed a match home and away. Went to all these grounds where, some of them are not even going now. When we used to sell out
the ground.
Yeah, we used to sell out absolutely everywhere. It's still elements of that now, by the way. But it was just unreal. The home fans were selling all their tickets and that to City fans, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I really, really wouldn't.
There's not many places now. Notts County, they had their highest gate of the season that season when we went 17,500, and they will freely admit 15,000 of them were Man City fans. You're never going to get anything like that again. It's just the sheer weight of numbers that we had over. Well, we took over the ground. We'd have like 3/4 of the ground. It happened at Oldham. I sort of watched Oldham yesterday, and it wasn't that long ago. We were thinking going to be tough up there at High Station Z, but it's going to be an hard game. And I was watching them yesterday, and it was like, could we have handled another 5 or 6 seasons of that? I'm not sure.
We'd have been out of business.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Amber.
So I've just seen I forget who's now. I think I'll tell you it was regarding we do need a couple of we do. I can't find it now. Oh, there it is. What Pardo says, we do need more bodies in. So I've got, sometimes it sounds like I'm a happy clapper because I've got such faith in what the club do, the way the club are run and stuff like that. I've no doubt. Listen, at the moment we've just won two games on the bounce in the Premier League. Burnley was a tough game. It really, really was a tough. That is a tough opener. That, and we breezed. Burnley will beat a few teams this season. We breezed past Burnley. We had a tough game, as we said in Athens on Wednesday night, and we were so controlled against Newcastle last night. If we can do that while we're short of numbers, be it strength in depth or injuries and stuff like that, it's only going to bode well for how strong we're going to get. And on top of that, as I said earlier, we notoriously start off slow in the Premier League. It's almost like we've come out the traps flying.
I think the other thing, is what people forgot was when we were playing on Wednesday. That Seville team, they're not built for a league. They won't play over here and finish in the top 5. They probably would finish in the top 10, 15, something like that. And they do have a lot of old players. But when it comes to a one-off final or a one-off home and away leg, those players have got a lot of experience. And they did give us a battle. There's no doubt about that. El Niari, the lad up front, he's a big, tall player. He's all right. He's a good player. We know Jesus Navas. We know these. They've got guile. They're not stupid. It's just, I don't know. I think that was a better result than we initially thought.
Yeah.
We'll just roll over them. For the one-off match, Seville, they're difficult. They're
the equivalent of sort of like a Real Madrid in the Europa. They've got that now sitting in that competition.
Yeah,
they've won it record times and stuff like that. So we saw we've got that European nous as well now, if you like, as well as sort of like the nous we've got for winning stuff domestically. Like Blakey and MCFC, good evening, pal. City are the benchmark. You have an incredible team and manager. We're just beginning our journey, and eventually we hope to be giving you a challenge year in, year out, but will take time. Only 2 years in. Absolutely. Something?
Yeah.
I can deal with absolutely top fans like you, mate, who are humble, and that's what's, the majority of City fans. Don't get me wrong. We've got some absolute whoppers at the minute for one reason or another. Every fan base has them. It's not just us. But being humble like that, I have nothing respect for people like that who are humble, because you can recognise something. And when before we won the lottery, if you like, I used to look at Chelsea. I didn't hate them. I was a little bit jealous of what they had. I thought, you jammy, what they've got, and they started their lottery journey, if you like. And I thought, something, these are a good side. I think Mourinho's first season, there was breathtaking. There really was. And then when we get a piece of that action like we did in 2008, it's been one hell of a journey, and there's nothing to stop Newcastle going on that same journey. But it needs people like you, Blakey, to wind some of the because I was on another stream the other night. Martin's the Mancunian way, he's a good friend of ours, and some of the fans what come on there, mate, was just like the Newcastle fans was just like, and that straight away, that's in my head. I thought, it's not all of you, because I never tar people with the same brush. I thought some of them are turning into Arsenal fans because you beat Villa, in your first game and you destroyed them. To be fair, I thought, I hope they, after winning one game at St James's, they're not starting to turn into like Arsenal fans where they're going to be giving that all season. Because listen, with the greatest respect, we've had United since our success. We've had challenges from United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal to a certain extent last season. I welcome a challenge from Newcastle. I really, really do. But people have got to, realise that you can't just come in, because it doesn't matter how rich you are, you've got to have the right structure in place. And it's took us years to get that right structure in place, because we didn't win everything under Mancini or Pellegrini or Hughes before that. What we did, we was building them foundations, and Pep is leading them foundations now with the right people in every position, whether it's the tea lady, whether it's somebody putting the kits out. That's where it all begins, because it's no coincidence that after winning the league in that last season, Pep's bonus, he relinquished that and give it all the people like the backroom staff and stuff like that, because he recognised that's part of the team. What breeds the success. Sorry for the rant, guy. Well, it's not a rant. It was just my.
Tell you one thing. Tell you one thing. I'm impressed with Newcastle. This does impress me, the way that they've got the discipline on buying people. Yep. They could do it. They could do a Chelsea, and they could go out and buy 900 million worth of people. That's great, but they're not doing it, because the problem with it is with this amortization. If you've got a guy you've signed him for 100 million over 10 years, you're going to have to pay out 10 million every year on your bank book. 10 million every year. And I think Chelsea were up to about 80 million that they have to find at the beginning of the season, every season for the next 7 years. Now, if they miss out on Europe, they're going to struggle, and they really will struggle. And I think Newcastle have spotted that. City got away with it because the drawbridge went up a little bit after we'd started doing what we were doing, but we had to hurry up, and this is why we've got ourselves, everybody sniffing around wondering what we're doing. Oh, you must have done something wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. They were doing this stuff, amortization. But Newcastle aren't going down that route, and they will do it organically, and they will get that right because they're doing it the right way.
Yeah, but that's not we can grow and stand.
Financial rant there, over.
It's not a rant. It's just like airing your thoughts, isn't it, Anne-Marie? Where you just, I don't mind opposition fans coming on stuff like when they like Blakey and stuff like that, because they're just general good football people. I won't go on somebody's stream like I see others do on various other streams and just start going on there for, if you like,
just
giggle,
to cause trouble.
Abusing, which we see. And so, yeah, I welcome any fans coming on.
Absolutely. And particularly, like you just said, such a fair fan as well. That's at the end of the day, as much as we love our teams, it's a game. And for it to bring out such
passion.
It's not passion though in some cases, is it? You look at our mate on United, Goldbridge, it's not passion with him. It's pure hatred of other clubs, particularly us.
He's not passion. He's not hatred. He's just a Forest fan that's realised that he can make a bit of money out of United. He's not a United fan. He's a Forest fan. I've got absolutely no time for him. Mark Goldbridge,
Forest Gimp.
Kicker.
Forest Gimp. That's what he is.
But out of the four of us here now tonight, how many of us follow media?
Say that again, Paddy.
Out of the four of us here tonight as a sample, how many follow that Goldstein or whatever you call him?
Goldbridge. I blocked him ages ago. I'll tell you a little story about Goldbridge. When he was first starting out, he wanted me to go on his. At that time, he was just sort of like doing a podcast. It wasn't a YouTube channel initially, and I went on there, and he tried to belittle me as a City fan, and I rinsed him. And he blocked me on loads and loads of stuff because I rinsed him sort of like when he was doing his like a live show. And if he was trying to get people like me on there just to try and belittle me, and you know something, he's not changed. If anything, he's got worse. But organisations like Talk Sport are to blame for giving idiots like this the airtime. So it's okay for Talk Sport putting something with what Goldbridge just said and with a shocked emoji. That's just so you can click on there. I block Talk Sport as well. I don't give them the time of day.
The best thing on the internet the other day was brilliant. That the villages used to have idiots, and now they've gone global because of the internet. And it's so true. You know, they used to be confined to their village, and now they're everywhere.
That was the best bit when I've not really blocked him, but I don't go on YouTube. I don't bother with anything like that. But what is good is when you see on Twitter the best ofs at the end of the week, and he's always in there, isn't he? Because there's something monumentally stupid that he said. And the best was the FA Cup final one, wasn't it? Come on, City, let's do it for Curly Watts. Come on, City. 13 seconds later, what the hell's going on? And I thought, you set yourself up to fail. But, you think if you've got no shame, but he's not got any shame because it's making him money. He's not bothered. Those clicks, you're right there, Andy, those clicks, that's what makes him the money. And if we could do that, we could come on here and say proper stupid stuff.
You do.
Get more clicks.
You do.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it's a great point as well, Stan, because we know, between the four of us here, we don't do this to in fact, it costs us money to only in the respect of subscriptions for things like StreamYard and stuff like that. We don't care. We don't do it for money. We have memberships open on here. That's not to make money. That's just to pump things, back into the channel. And people have vouched for it. I do giveaways. Something I meant to do a giveaway as well tonight. A mug or something, but I'll definitely do one next week. Apologies, guys.
However, this is where you jump in.
Each car being sprayed blue.
Never mind Anne-Marie's car being sprayed blue. I would recommend everybody gets on Andy's site and buys some mugs. They're absolutely class.
You stole me thunder. You stole me thunder there, Anne-Marie. If you would like to help the site, please go to Savage Online Stores, where you will be mugged off, literally.
Stan, you can't say that.
You can, because you've got a fantastic range of mugs. No. I was right there. You've got a fantastic range of mugs, and you'd be happy to mug somebody off.
No, and it is right.
Well,
yeah,
it wouldn't
quite
be
right.
Ireland.
Right, we'll do. I can send you whatever you want, mate. No, it's quite right. While we're chatting through it, yeah, we do. I do sort of like sponsor the show a little bit like that. I know it's because it's ours and stuff like that, but it doesn't stop me doing giveaways as well. If nobody bought anything from our website, it's not a problem. It will not stop me doing giveaways and stuff like that, because I've always wanted to put stuff back into the channel, whether it's the YouTube channel. I do them on Twitter. I've always done them on Facebook and stuff like that, as you guys will vouch for. I'm not, but and it's right. Goldbridge does it for the money and stuff like that. Fair enough. You know, there's other city accounts who do it for money. Fair enough. Whatever floats their boat.
We're doing it for the love of City.
Absolutely.
And I can 100% tell you that we don't script any of this, because he's never in a million years at 7 o'clock, any of us thought we'd end up talking about Mark Goldbridge. So we can tell you it's all on the cuff of what we're doing here and now. And a lot of it's fueled by what you guys are asking us, who come on and see things, and we'll go, if you agree with something, and, you know, all the regular guys who come in and throw bits and bobs in. It's great. That's what it's about. We don't have to agree with it all, but you've always got what you like to say it.
It's just our opinion. We're not out to cause any offence or anything like that. We're doing it purely for the love of our club.
You are absolutely right, because we used to do our shows recorded, and once they've been recorded, we used to put them out. And it's only for things like StreamYard, what we can do, stuff like that now, where the interaction from you guys, you know, in the chat and stuff like that. I love doing it because of that, because there's a lot of people, you know, a lot of the you guys, you know, why do I keep saying you guys and you guys? A lot of the people,
you've seen the Goonies, haven't you?
You know, are regulars, but it's, you know, it's never a dull moment. I prefer the interaction. Good evening, Elliot. Hello, people. Great show as always. Cheers, mate. Filling that position was reminding me of David Silver, Up the Blues. Absolutely, mate. You know, and I just, it was like Phil stuck two fingers up to people last night, because when people are being negative about certain players as well, we've seen this with Calvin Phillips as well, they tend to tag them on Twitter. And if people don't think that players don't really look at Twitter and stuff like that, of course they do. And the human beings. And if you're hammering somebody, it's not great. If I was being hammered in work, my boss won't get the best out of me. If I was getting a pat on the back and or encouragement, you'd probably get the best out of me. And we're not seeing that, unfortunately.
That goes back to the kind of the online bullying and stuff of players, you know. I know he's not one of our players, but Maguire, the abuse he gets online is nonsense. It's shocking.
Yep.
And I actually think United ruined him. If he had came to us, he wouldn't be the player he is now if he had came to us.
And that's right. That's right. What Keith's saying as well. I personally delivered mugs to Keith
and to me on Friday, and it was much appreciated.
And to Anne Marie in a red car.
Yeah.
Car rest.
Where am I getting mine delivered?
You drop me a message with whatever you want, mate, and I will send you one.
No, when are you going to deliver it?
I heard all my you know, something.
I want it hand delivered by you personally.
Good evening, Vater. Hope you're well, my friend. We'll have to get you on one night, Vater, as well. You know, you're always welcome on our show. But City showed their class last night. Great show and panel. Cheers, Andy. Cheers, mate. Much appreciated. Yeah, we did, mate. You know, I was really, really buzzing when we come out the Etihad last night, you know, with the performance.
You couldn't find fault with that performance last night, could you?
Got what?
You couldn't find fault with that performance last night?
No. If you was being nitpicky, you could. But I always prefer to look at a performance collectively. You know, rather than just, you know, pick players out for the sake of picking players. And I know it must have been a good performance as well last night, because the lad who sits behind me didn't even slaughter a player. So that's my benchmark of our performance. Anyway, guys, I should think we'll park it there. Thanks for, as always, everybody in the chat. As I say, it's you who actually make the show. We things you say to us and stuff like that. And, you know, questions. We're not experts. We're just fans, like yourselves, who have an opinion, just like everybody. Opinions are like everybody has got one.
I'm an expert. What are you talking about?
Speaking of assholes, Stan, anything to say?
No. No.
You know I'm only serious. No, listen. Thanks for joining us, well, Anne-Marie. Good to have you back as well. It really
Thank
is.
you.
We missed you last week.
We did.
Yeah, I know you did. Your numbers
We
were
did.
down.
No. What?
Can't argue with that.
I like driving in my red car. Right. Yeah. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great week. We've got our next match now is Sheffield United next Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, you won't have me next Sunday. I'm away.
Thank God.
So, if anybody in the chat there wants to replace me next week, Anne-Marie will be hosting the show. Well, and I'm just dropping that on you now, Anne-Marie, because you did a good job last time. Yeah, if any of you want to actually come on the show, guys, you're more than welcome to come on the show as on the.
I thought you were going to do a pet then. I thought you were going to do a pet. If you think you can do any better than the substitutions, you can come and sit on my seat.
Anybody wants to come and sit in my seat?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if any of you want to get in touch, and we will, I'll arrange for you to come on. So thanks very much. Cheers, Anne-Marie.
Please, somebody, please do it.
Yeah, and we'll do it all again. Well, not me. Next week. Have a great week, guys. Bye bye now.